That was the view last night. That's actually lake effect clouds from the area lakes. Well, needless to say, we had an extremely cold night across much of Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas. And let's see just how cold it was. Now, as far as I know, we don't have any plots anymore of the daily minimum, so we're going to use the 13Z map. This is going to be about 7 a.m. Central. So this is going to be equaling or just a little bit warmer than the actual daily minimum. And we see minus 35 up there at International Falls, minus 35 at Bemidji. So that's where the truly brutal areas. We got minus 25 at Duluth, and moving south. Yep, we're not done with the cold air. We've got, let's see, minus 27 at Yankton, minus 28 at Fort Dodge. And going a little bit further south, yep, still not done with the minus 20s. We got minus 22 at Omaha, minus 26 at Lincoln, and minus 23 at Kearney, minus 17 at Des Moines, and minus 21 at St. Joseph. Again, these are actual air temperatures, not wind chills. Going a little bit further south into Kansas, coldest reading we're seeing, minus 24 up there at Marysville, and minus 16 at Wichita, and a lot of minus 10s throughout the eastern half of the state. Going further south, Oklahoma also getting some of that intense cold. We got minus 17 there just south of Miami, minus 16 at Ponca City, minus 11 at Oklahoma City, so they came really close to their forecast temperature, minus 20 at Fayetteville, Arkansas, and we've got missing data out near Little Rock. Not sure what's up with that. And finally into Texas, yep, minus 1 at DFW, minus 1 at Greenville, and even below 0 in East Texas, which almost never happens, minus 6 at Palestine. And I'm fairly certain that that sets an all-time record low. And down to the south, 14 at San Antonio and 13 at Houston. And as you can see, even Louisiana not getting spared. Lots of single digits around Shreveport, teens throughout the central part of the state, and New Orleans there checking in with 25 and a north wind. And, yep, some of those single digits all the way into Tennessee and Kentucky, where they've got some strong westerly winds. 11 degrees there this morning at Nashville, and 13 up at Huntsville, and I think that's Muscle Shoals. So anyway, that's your tour of the brutal cold in the central U.S. And let's see what it looks like now. So the early afternoon map looking like this. There's that big former Arctic high centered across Arkansas up to Minnesota, and temperatures have come up quite a bit, where we had that minus 34, I think, up at International Falls, already close to 0. Temperatures up to 14 at DFW, and finally coming up above freezing around Del Rio. But man, that freezing line is pretty far west and pretty far south. So pretty much this entire part of the country here is below freezing during this early afternoon hour. There's our next system out there to the west coming through New Mexico. We can see that the air back behind it is not that severe. And then taking a quick look up north, it's cold. Minus 33 up there in the high Arctic, minus 41 up in northern Victoria Island, but there's not much of a push of high pressure behind that. In fact, in the northern Labrador Sea. So with that and the strong zonal component, that Arctic air is not going to make it very far south. And there's the satellite imagery overnight. We're in the infrared channels, and you can see the lakes showing up quite well, much, much warmer than the air mass around it. And then if we move forward into the dawn hours, We pick up the visible imagery channel, and you can see the extent of that snow there in the early morning. But we do have some trouble coming this way. We've got clouds moving in with the next system that will be spreading in tonight and into the morning Wednesday. And that is a big problem because it's going to keep the cold air from clearing out. It's going to bring mixed precip, and it will further compound the problems with the power grid in Texas. And I can't really overemphasize the fact that it is a catastrophic situation. The grid is producing about a half to maybe 2/3 of the total energy needed. A lot of people in the cities are in very dire straits, and this could affect us also. So, as I've said before, if we don't put out our daily videos tomorrow and the next day, then we're probably having outages, and we are getting this ice storm coming in. That could be another problem. So it's just, one thing after another. So we'll see how things play out. So there's the way we're looking in this afternoon. If we flip over to the water vapor channel, that gives us a little bit more detail, and we can see the structure on this system. That's probably going to be the lead wave. And looking further at the animation, it appears that maybe that is the main wave. It's just kind of moving slowly as a whole. To really figure that out, we need to take a look at the heights and vorticity. And this gives us a better idea of the extent of the vertical motion field. We see that the flow is extensively channeled through the southwestern U.S. It's not like that system we had over the weekend, which was more of a classic shortwave. So this is associated with jet stream dynamics there. It looks like a max running through Arizona. And that'll spread into Texas. Kind of a very elongated troughing pattern there, but that's the wave, kind of a medium-sized wave, and that moves into Texas proper this evening, and then finally moves eastward. Looks like this is like one big wave and a couple smaller ones embedded in the flow, in addition to the vertical motions associated with the transverse circulations of that jet max. So this is that lead wave we're looking at, producing some snow around the Lubbock area. That's going to move into Oklahoma City this evening. And then you can see out to the west there around Fort Stockton. That's what we're going to be watching for central Texas. You can see it's already got some freezing rain in that. And there it goes towards the east, where the deeper cold air is. It's going to be in the form of sleet. And then where the warm air advection has eroded some of that cold air, we have freezing rain. By tonight, there it is. You can see the transition line between ice, well, actually between freezing rain and sleet, is around Temple, according to the GFS. And then it quickly moves eastward into East Texas there. A little bit of freezing rain back behind that, and that's going to lay down a track of ice across East Texas. And there it goes. Looks like some convective elements get started during the morning hours, so that's going to be a even bigger problem across central and northern Louisiana there. And you can see it departing into Mississippi. And here's the damage forecast. Freezing rain. Looks like a pretty heavy swath running from about Nacogdoches up to Monroe. And then as far as additional snows up there near Dallas, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, there you go. Looks like some heavy accumulations in southern Oklahoma with that lead wave today. That'll move eastward, and then Dallas will catch some of that southern wave overnight. There's a look at it on the 3-kilometer NAM. There's that first snow band going up in Oklahoma City, then the tail end wave moving across central Texas there. Looks like an ice storm in East Texas moving into Louisiana. And that's probably going to down a lot of the infrastructure as far as lines. And I know that that's the last thing they need there. So the impacts as a whole by this cold wave, the energy problems, the infrastructure issues, I think those are going to be catastrophic and we're going to be hearing a lot more about this on the news over the days ahead. And that's going to be a good place to stop because we need to make sure we get this posted before we have any issues with the power. Texas, of course, is getting rotating blackouts, and with everything going on here, it's been a bit hard to focus on the rest of the country. So we'll see how things are tomorrow, and if things work out, we'll keep putting out the videos. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.